Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Okay, and in this video, we're going to look at the last number 5 in the series that I've been doing. Thank God it's the last one, of Family Annihilators. And this last video, we're going to delve a little bit deeper. I have done a video about Chris Watts before, and I will be showing part of that video that I did, but I'm going into it a bit deeper. I'm going to show more footage, etc., which I didn't know how to do a year ago when I was making the original video. So we're going to talk about this case, very sad case. Well, family annihilators in general, very sad, isn't it? We've done a couple of cases. We've done 4. I've done a series. I've already done 4 videos. There's a playlist, and also there's a video in there that explains more in depth what can be considered a family annihilator, what motivates them, their psyche, etc. What psychiatrists think about them, what's likely to make somebody do it, all the details of what family annihilator is. I'm not going to go into again in this video, but refer you back to that video if you want to know more details of what leads someone to do these kind of things. And there's all different reasons, or sometimes it's a combination of reasons. I think with Chris Watts, as we go along, we'll see is different from the other annihilators that we've looked at. I don't think it was because he thought he owned his family and his children. There were those there to do with what he wanted, like some of them were. I think this guy, he was thinking with another part of his anatomy other than his brain, and he wasn't thinking straight. But it's still a complete mystery, because to all intents and purposes, Chris was a good father, a good husband, but it just goes to show you never know what's going on behind closed doors, do you? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the video that made last year, but I'm going to insert into it some comments from me, because I'm here live, well, not live, but I'm here doing the video as well. So I'm going to interject every now and again. I'm going to show you a lot of photos, and I'm going to show you a lot of videos, footage, actual footage from what happened, interviews, etc. So we're going to start with the actual video itself. Just start off with that, and then I'm going to interject here and there. Now, first of all, I need to do that. Sorry. Oh, wrong one. Share video. So yeah, it's a bit of an amalgamation of what I used to be able to do and what I can do now. I've got a bit better with videos.
Hello, it's me, Vicky Marie. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to talk about Chris Watts. Have you heard of him? Now, Chris Watts is what psychologists call a family annihilator. In other words, this not very nice man. I will try my best not to swear throughout this video, but it's quite upsetting. So I just want to tell you now, it may upset you if you're too sensitive, because it's quite it's a traumatic subject. Now, I want to stress this video is only for entertainment, if you like, and for interest. I'm not a psychologist. Just these cases, for me, I just cannot get my head around them. And the reason I wanted to do this video is I wanted to talk about why would somebody do, I really don't understand it. Even as we go into it, you'll see that I can see the reasons why he might have wanted to be separated from his family. Things happen, you get married, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. But the way he ended his marriage, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. He must have had some sort of mental aberration or something, because there was no way he was going to get away with it. There was no way, you know, it just seems totally ridiculous to me. Even if you take away the fact that it's just a really shitty thing to do, a horrible thing to do, it's not even a clever thing to do. So what's the reasoning behind it? So anyway, let's get into it before I sort of, you know, start rambling as I normally do. So yeah, I just want to say it's not, I'm giving my opinion here. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not an expert. These are my opinions will come into it. I'd like to know your opinion because I really struggle to get a handle on these things. And I do find it fascinating or interesting to know why, what on earth would possess someone to do what this man did. Okay, so let's talk about Chris Watts. So this happened in Colorado in America. There's been lots of similar cases, and I will go into other cases as well in future videos here and there, because as I say, it just totally, it just seems incredible to me. Now, Chris killed 4 victims, 4 of his family.
Now, I just want to break in there. Look, picture perfect Colorado. Look how beautiful it is. But I tell you, as you know, obviously I watch a lot of true crime videos. So a lot of things seem to happen in Colorado. This was favourite hunting ground of Ted Bundy, of course. Most of his victims were sort of found, you know, were scattered around there. And he had his ashes scattered around there. I don't know how he managed to get away with that. So yeah, Colorado, that's where we are for this case. Seems like so many things seem to go wrong there, but it looks like such a beautiful place. But you know, these picture perfect places, they're often the scenes of the worst crimes, aren't they?
And these people that he killed were his wife, Shanann, who was pregnant with their unborn child, Nico, which was a boy, apparently a long-awaited son, that they'd been waiting for a son.
Yeah, so very sad. So 3 pictures there of Shanann when she was pregnant with Bella, when she was pregnant with Cece, and when she was pregnant with Nico. Of course, Nico never got a chance to be born because Chris killed Shanann while she was pregnant. You know, since I've been doing true crime, it has been a bit of a revelation to me how many women are killed when they're pregnant. Just unbelievable. You know, it doesn't, sometimes to some people, it doesn't seem to matter to them that they are pregnant. And, you know, you'd think that would be a time that you could feel the safest, but it's not, apparently, unfortunately.
He also killed, she was 15 weeks pregnant at the time when he killed her and killed the baby, of course, as well. But he also killed Bella. One of his daughters was 4 years old. And he also killed his other daughter, Celeste, who was 3 years old. Again, this I just cannot get my head around, because you know what, you can see that people are fighting, they're having an argument, couples fall out, people do things in the heat of a moment. You know, nobody, I think everybody is capable of a fit of rage. However, to then go on and strangle your daughters, your little daughters, that I just it's like, well, you know, anyway.
Yeah, and I just want to go back to the wedding pictures that we looked at earlier. This was at the wedding, Chris and Shanann's wedding. He looks really happy. All the photos and videos from the wedding, they both look extremely happy. You know, as often people do look on their wedding day. And this is Shanann looking very, very beautiful on her wedding day. So it's always interesting, isn't it, to think, where does it all go wrong, or at what point, you know, people get married happily, they're happy, and then it all goes wrong.
He did it, and bearing in mind that these daughters thought he was their hero. And to all intents and purposes, he had always been a good father, always.
Yeah, it's very strange because there's a very, very haunting video of one of the girls saying, "Dad, my daddy's my hero." I think it was Bella, and just tragic, that he could do that. Very odd, very odd. This guy just, I don't know what happened to him.
And it's totally out of character. I think this is what I find intriguing as well. So let's just set the scene a little bit. Shanann was a young woman, very beautiful. She'd had some health problems. She'd been suffering with lupus, and apparently, he'd helped her all through that illness. And but they had some quite high medical bills, so financially they were having problems. If you watch the Netflix documentary about this case, which I will put the link in the description box, and some other links of things that you can watch, I think what makes this case all the more sort of gives you attracts attention, if you like, more, is because their life up to this point was played out on social media. Shanann had one of these multi-level marketing companies, and she did a lot of videos.
Yeah, my personal opinion, that's why this case became, I think also it may have been during COVID or around the COVID time, I'm not sure. But this case received so much attention. No, it wasn't during COVID. Anyway, this case received so much attention because there was so much video footage out there. There's lots of personal footage from Shanann. She did this, her business revolved around social media. So she was always making videos. So there was a lot of social media footage available apart from door cam footage and things like that. So I think that's why apart from the fact it's horrible, of course it's horrible, that a man would do that to his family and his 2 children, but there's been other family annihilators that haven't engendered the same attention. So it's quite strange, and I do think Chris's reasons, when we've gone along this series that we've been doing, the reasons have been so different, so this is the 5th one in this series, and we started off, the first one was the Todd family. Up in the top right hand corner, the Disney family murders, as they're called, because they lived in I think with him it was the more that it was mental health and religion. Then we've got John Sharp here in the bottom right hand corner. He was just fed up of being married. His wife was pregnant again. He was fed up of being married. Gracie, the little girl, was a problem. Everything was a problem. He just wanted to get rid of it, and he just fed up of it. Then we've got the Height family murders. We looked at, actually, the next one was the Christian Longo. He was, again, to me, like John Sharp, fed up of being married. He wanted to be free. He just wanted to go off and do his own thing, and he killed his wife and these 3 little angels and went off to Mexico, or, just just horrible. And then the Height family murders, that was, I think, again, mental illness. She wanted to leave him. He was obviously, there was religion involved there, and he wasn't going to let her leave him. So he just murdered all of them and his wife's mother. So there's a video on each of those, if you can stomach it. I mean, it's not very nice, but it is it's important that we remember these victims. And then we have Chris Watts, who to me, his reason is different. And all because he, as we'll see, he did have another woman. He's totally in love or lust with the other woman. And of course, now Shannon's pregnant again. And I bet you any money that other woman did not know that he was still sleeping with Shanann. So I just think he must have thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to explain to this mistress, who he was completely over heels with, that not only he'd still been sleeping with his wife, but the proof was in the pudding, if you'll pardon the expression, because she was now pregnant again. So I think these are the sort of reasons why Chris did it. So all these family annihilators have got different reasons for why they did it, or combinations of reasons.
Whole life was on video, really, on social media. And so to watch all that, so much so that the Netflix documentary, there is no narration or anything, it's just all videos all put together of all the videos that she'd done over the years, and then the videos following their tragic.
Yeah, videos and text messages, WhatsApp messages. You know, they didn't need to put a video together, Netflix. You know, they did. All they needed to do was access all the information.
And they look like, you know what social media is like. Because, oh, everyone's having a great time. So nobody puts anything on social media when they're not having a great time. You don't go on there and say, oh, God, look, we've just had this terrible argument and I hate my husband, or, whatever. Or, the kids have just had a right tantrum and they've made a mess in the room. It's all, you only put on the positive things. So people watching it think, oh, they've got this perfect life. Well, obviously they didn't have a perfect life. And people, we know now that they didn't, going back looking at messages that had gone between Shanann and her friends, and the fact that Chris was having an affair as well. So all this pitch perfect life, it was just a facade. It was smoke and mirrors. It just wasn't real.
So here she is, the woman he was having an affair with, Nicole. I think I've got another couple of pictures of her somewhere. I mean, there's a lot of very sort of hot pictures of her around, because he'd taken quite a lot of pictures of her. And I had downloaded some of them, but you know what? I'm not going to put those up because I think they're quite private, aren't they? So, yeah, there she was, Nicole. He worked with her, and there's Nicole Kettinger. And some people think maybe she knew about what he was going to do. I personally don't believe that. I don't think she did know what he was going to do, but I'm 100% certain she did not know that Shanann was pregnant. I'm pretty much certain about that.
So, yeah. Now, the thing about Chris as well is when they got married, before they had their children, etc., Shanann was the main earner, if you like. She had built her own house. I mean, he had a job, don't get wrong, he wasn't a deadbeat, she had a good job, but she was the main wage earner. But of course, as time went on, she got ill. I think, financially things got more difficult for them. And then, of course, they had the children. They had to try really hard to have the children because she was told that she might not be able to have children because of the lupus. So they had 2 girls. And there's a very emotional video of when she sort of tells Chris that she's pregnant, that she's taking a video as he walks in, something like, oh, we did it again. And, you can, to me, on that video, although he's all, oh, great, but you feel, reading with, obviously right in front of the video, he didn't want to say, oh, for God's sake, I didn't want another baby. But you do feel that. I did anyway. But he did, he comes over, oh, he's really happy, blah, blah, blah. But apparently in private, he was expressing those feelings to Shanann, saying that he didn't really want another child, etc.
Okay, I'm going to show you. Sorry,
Chris didn't want to.
I'm going to show you that video because I think it's important to see what you think. I mean, to me, Chris was like a doormat. He did anything that Shanann said, and of course, then later people say, no, she was too dominant and all that rubbish. No, he was too much of a wimp. It's his responsibility, not Shanann's. Anyway, let's have a look at this. So she starts off showing the T-shirt because she's just done the pregnancy test. So she starts off showing the T-shirt to the camera. And in comes the unsuspecting Chris, who pretends to be happy, but I think you can tell he isn't. Oh. The dog seems really happy that he's coming in. At least he didn't kill the dog like the Todd family guy did.
We did it again. I like that shirt.
He's a total liar because he didn't like that shirt at all. But I thought you could see it in his face when he stood there for too long, didn't he? It was like, what?
Really?
Really?
That's awesome. So pink means...
That's just the test.
I know. It's just that the pink is going to be girls.
I don't know. Just the test.
That's awesome.
I think you can tell that he's not really thinking that it's very awesome. Oh. Yeah. So, what do you think? Let me know what you think in comment. Okay, let's carry on now.
Anymore. He'd met a new woman called Nicole Kessing that he worked with. They'd been having an affair for quite some time. I think she was a bit younger than Shanann. I don't think she was that much. Shanann was young. I mean, she wasn't, you know, it wasn't as if, he was in his 50s and he decided he wanted a younger woman. I mean, I don't think there was that much age difference, etc. He just wanted someone. He didn't want to be married and he didn't want to be a father anymore. And something interesting that happened to Chris is when he got married, he was quite overweight. And I was really surprised when I saw the photos of the wedding. Because when you see Chris later on, like when he's arrested, he's a handsome guy. He's really sort of muscular. And so he'd gone on some sort of, whether it was because he met the girl or whether it was after he went on the health kick, etc., that he met the girl. I don't know. I don't know what the timeline was there, but he looks like a different person, suddenly. So he's gone from being this quite overweight sort of guy, still quite good looking, and I'm not saying that, but suddenly he's this toned, muscled sort of Chippendale, so he did make big changes in his life. And as I said, I don't know if that's because of the girlfriend or it's because of the changes that he made in his life that he decided he wanted a new girlfriend. Who knows the actual nuts and bolts of that. But yeah, basically he didn't want to be married to Shanann anymore. And I think she knew that. They had talked about things. She had confessed to one of her friends that she was quite scared of him by then. So there must have been some aggressive interludes before for her to... see, this is the other thing I don't understand about men. Maybe they don't realise, he didn't realise that women tell their friends things. So, when this all happened, obviously then the friend is going to say, oh yeah, she did say that she was scared of him, and they had these arguments. And maybe men don't realise that women do discuss things with their friends. So it's not that you think, oh, nobody will know that we didn't like each other. I mean, her friends knew. We tell our friends things that women do talk about their lives, tend to talk about their lives a lot more than men do. So all this sort of came to a head, if you like, on the 13th of August 2019. So not that long ago, only last year. So that's why it's quite sort of current and still, talked about, I suppose.
Well, gosh, I must have done this in 2020 then. I thought I did it last year, but did it quite a long time ago. Yeah, so if I said it was last year, so I must have made this video in 2020. So yeah, Shanann had been away on a work conference, and we're going to just have a look now quickly at the doorbell camera of her arriving home. This is very poignant, I think, because this is the last time that Shanann was seen alive. So I've just got to find the program. I've got a lot of windows open, as you can imagine. Just got to find it. Lie detector. All right, I'll put some windows down, and then I've got more of a chance of finding it. There it is. So hang on. But yeah, very sad. So this was Shanann arriving home from her trip away, and she'd been saying to her friends he hadn't been very, hadn't really been texting her much. And now looking at where they live, oh gosh, I really do think Chris Watts, he just went into some sort of mental aberration, because if he had any proper thoughts in his head, look, it's quite a busy neighborhood, isn't it? It's not a neighborhood where you think you wouldn't be caught on CCTV. It's not as if they live in a house in the middle of nowhere. There's a lot of houses around there. So, he really, really took a chance, didn't he? But I don't think he even thought about anything. Anyway, this is poor Shanann arriving home. Her friend had dropped her off. Oh my God. I mean, her friend was so good. Her friend reported her missing immediately the next day, because she was supposed to take her for, an antenatal appointment. And, but God, watching her drive off there and not knowing what Shanann was walking into. And that by just a couple of hours later, not only Shanann, but the two girls as well, would be dead by that man's hand. It's very sad, isn't it? Very poignant. I'm just going to play it again from the beginning. Yeah, see a friend backing away, and oh my God, you would just feel awful. I mean, obviously it's not your fault, but you would feel as if you could have done something. These are the videos that we see sometimes that you just want to rewind, step back into time and change the result, don't you? Which of course we can't do. We can't change the past. So.
And Shanann had been on a weekend trip, and see where she'd been. She'd been on a business trip to Arizona for this multi-level company that she had a business. She was successful, and she had asked her friend Nicole to pick her up at the airport and take her home. Now, not sure why she asked her to pick her up, but of course Chris was looking after the girls, I suppose. So maybe that's why she phoned a friend. But she had spoken to her friend many times about the problems that she was having with Chris. That he wasn't really that happy about the fact she was pregnant, etc. Even though it was this long-awaited son, which apparently knows they had two girls already. Apparently, he was happy they had a son, but nobody knew then about the affair. I don't think Shanann knew about the affair. Possibly she did, maybe she did, I don't know. But anyway, so she arrived home. What time was she dropped off? I think it was about 3 in the morning.
Now, I just want to interrupt there, because I probably didn't know then, but I know now she did know about the affair. She had caught him out in an affair, because she'd found, he was stupid enough to leave on his credit, to pay by card. He went to a restaurant for something to eat, and it was obvious that he'd bought a meal for 2 people, and Shanann had spotted that. So I don't know that she knew all the details of the affair, but she knew there was something going on, and she probably challenged him about that.
Chris was there with the girls, and who knows what really happened then. Obviously, we've only got his version of what happened then when she arrived home. And he has changed it a couple of times. So I'm not even going to go into that. You can have a look at some of the, Google it, or have a look at some of the links to find out what he said happened there. Now, basically, she then missed an appointment. And her friend Nicole, she had an appointment the next morning to do with her pregnancy, and she didn't go. Now, I'm not sure how Nicole would have known. Maybe Nicole was supposed to meet her there, or maybe she tried to message it. Anyway, she did try.
Well, she went there to pick her up because she was taking her. I know that now. I didn't know all these details then. So, in fact, I think that's what we're going to have a look at next. We're going to have a look at, sorry about my dog whining. I have no idea why she's whining. We're going to have a look at when Nicole, her friend, phoned the police, and the police turned up because she got in touch with them, you know, concerned. Where was she? You know, she was supposed to be picking her up, and she wasn't there, and she wasn't answering the phone or anything. So let's have a look.
How you been?
Hi.
Here, Nicole?
Yes.
Okay. What's going on?
So my friend, we were out of town for a business trip this weekend.
Right.
And I dropped her off at 2 o'clock this morning. She's 15 weeks pregnant.
It just all looks so normal, doesn't it? It just all looks so normal. You'd be there and you'd be thinking, nothing could have happened. Nothing could have happened. So it's thanks to Nicole Atkinson that it all got sort of caught so quickly.
She wasn't feeling well, and she had a doctor's appointment this morning at 9, and I told her to let me know if she needed me to take her. She's got 2 little girls, and she was very distraught over the weekend, wasn't eating normally or drinking, and we kept trying to force it on her because she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband and her supposedly are separating, but she didn't know this. She thought they were just having issues. He disclosed that to me today.
Okay.
Because I called him and I was like, have you talked or heard from Shanann since she left for work this morning? Because I can't get a hold of her. I've called, I've texted. Her car's in the garage. Her shoes she wears every single day are right in the front door.
She only has one vehicle?
No, they only have the one vehicle and it's a truck.
Okay. That's what I'm asking.
She
There's
took
not
the girls and went on a play date, but they're 4 and 2. She went on a play date. Why wouldn't she take a car?
Yeah, so if they'd gone on a play date, she's saying, why wouldn't they have taken a car? I just want to give credit to this YouTube channel, Crime Vault. They've got the whole lot of the police body cam footage on there. I mean, it is available freely, but just wanted to give them the credit. That's where I'm taking this section from. Just going to take a little section of it.
They're both in car seats.
Beautiful house. Shanann designed that house herself.
Morning at 9 and she didn't go to the doctor's appointment.
Okay. No answer on the phone. Husband's on his way.
Supposedly, but he said that 30 minutes ago when I called him again and he said there's 45 minutes out. And I know the code is the door.
You do?
I do, but there's a thing on it. There's a, no, it'll, even Chris knows you can do it. There's a, they have the thing flipped up here.
Oh. What about the garage door?
I don't
Is
know.
there... do you mind calling him and seeing if we can get a passcode to this and get me permission to go in?
Okay.
I'm just gonna check the back, see if I can see anything. Right. I just want to look in all the windows, make sure I don't see anything out of. Do they?
So, of course, as all this was going on, Chris was actually disposing of the bodies of his wife and his 2 little girls. The 2 little girls he was putting in oil drums. Oh, here he is.
I'm here. Hang on. Yeah, get me on the phone. Okay, sit down.
Scott, how you doing?
How's it going?
So he shakes his hand.
So this
He
is the only
looks
vehicle
at
she would
her.
have.
Only one that, yeah.
She would drive.
He shakes the policeman's hand. He's bearing in mind what he's just been doing to his wife and daughters. It makes me feel sick. And then he looks at her. She just blanks him completely. She knows he's done something. She knows.
Drive. Okay.
And he's pretending to look in the car. Anyway, you can watch the whole thing, obviously, online. Right, let's carry on.
No reply. So she immediately phoned the police. And you know what? I just think, thank God for Nicole and for a friend who cares about you. I mean, it didn't save their lives, unfortunately, but it meant he was caught so quickly because he probably thought, he could, cover his tracks. He had all the time in the world to cover his tracks. Well, he didn't, because Nicole was right there like a bloodhound. Immediately, where is she? Why is she not answering her phone? And she phoned the police, and the police turned up at his house. And then, of course, Chris wasn't there because, well, Chris was off disposing of the bodies at the time. But of course, they didn't know that. They thought he was just at work. So the welfare, this welfare check that the police did, it caught him completely off guard. And all this is on camera as well, on the policeman's body cam. And you know what? It's just chilling to me. If you watch it, you'll see. Because a lot of people say that you could tell that Chris Watts was guilty when he was watching the CCTV surveillance a bit later on, which I'll talk about in a bit. But to me, you knew he was guilty as soon as he arrived back there, because the policeman was there, the friend Nicole was there. This guy got out of his car, went up to the policeman, shook his hand. Well, that gave me a chill. Because when you know what those hands were doing only a couple of hours earlier when they were murdering his wife and his two small children, and then he shook the policeman's hand. I mean, that policeman, if I feel like cutting a hand off afterwards. You couldn't wash it enough, could you, to get his... And then...
Anyway, we're going to look at the surveillance now, the neighbour's surveillance and his reaction to that.
What's that?
My camera. Lay down.
Loading my stuff up in my coolers, my water jugs, my book bag, my computers, some of the tools that I have in the toolbox. I knew I was going to have to do some pumping unit rubbers today. That's why I was out so far.
Is this on continually recording?
Yep. Well,
It's not. Is it motion or is it?
event.
Okay, so it's motion.
Any motion event that happens, I get cars driving from this street, And this is him at 517.
No, he's on his phone here. He's saying this is him at 5:17 this morning, loading up his truck.
Usually park out there on the side and get everything back in. Be easier, so lugging everything out there, all the tools that I had to bring in.
He wasn't expecting that, was he? Even with all this going on, he can't leave his phone alone. That's how much he's in lust with that woman, because he just cannot stop looking at his phone, even though all this is going on. That neighbour, he knows.
My detective just showed up.
Side-eyeing
He'll
him.
probably want to talk to you. He'd probably, like I said, he might have you call at the bank and see if there's any kind of activity.
Because if there is any sort of action out
On
there,
his camera, it's
I
like,
would have got it.
like
Right.
we had issues the other week when people were stealing stuff out of like garages and stuff like that. And
Look at that neighbour.
I
his
had your
face.
mark right here.
yeah, there's someone
See if
I could
anything
see where
happened.
someone tried to jimmy with a flathead screwdriver over there, and it was just like,
But if any action would have happened, any cars or anything left your house, I would
yeah,
have
it
got
would have
it.
been like right in that area. It should have picked. I mean,
Oh, it'll pick up anything coming down the street this way.
you know where that tree there is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Watch out.
Yeah, he's trying to say, oh no, it might be that. And he's saying, no, 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 no. Look, oh, look at his face there, looking at him. Oh, look at that. Oh my God, he's looking at him as if to say, you C-U-N-T or something. You know, look what you've done. Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, look at his face now.
There's nothing on here. We've already watched that one. But like, you'll see this car.
Then, of course, the neighbour gets suspicious. Well, he's already, you can see he's suspicious. And he takes the policeman to one side.
See what I'm saying? It picked up all the way down there.
He's next door.
There we go.
Talking about dispatcher. It'll be close for.
Because, yeah, we can pick up cars coming this way. I get anything coming this way and making this turn. So, and usually at night I pick up the cars pulling a year trim. So, unless they pulled right here,
Yeah.
but I would have caught her walking out. Diesel.
Good.
So, yeah, I thought nothing.
Nothing for the rest of the day.
No, that's it.
She's pregnant as well.
Oh,
How far along?
14, 15 weeks.
see that? That's
Nothing for the rest of the
this
day.
came up on the telly about the baby, the embryo, and that's when he decides to tell the policeman she's pregnant.
How far along?
14, 15 weeks.
Oh my God. That's quite spooky, isn't it?
That's why her friend said it was low blood sugar.
And see,
Look, he's on that phone again.
I've got
But he's not looking for Shanann, you know. I suppose he'd be saying, oh, he's looking to see if he's messaging Shanann. He's not messaging Shanann. He's probably messaging Nicole Kessinger.
Did you go check if anything was missing around your house?
There wasn't nothing. It was all like blank.
Okay, I want to try and get the bit now just where the
Her phone was still there.
where it is where he talks to the policeman. Yeah.
Well, that was always that way. Well, yeah, but this is just weird. It just seems kind of odd to me. Why would he pull the truck up and go to the garage?
Right.
Yeah, I've never seen him pull back.
I've never seen him. If he loads his stuff, he normally just walks back and forth because I get him on camera.
What does he usually load up?
All he usually has is a lunch box and a book bag, looks like a computer, and usually a water jug. That's it.
That boy's looked at me, he's probably thinking, oh my God, because I bet he's a really nosy neighbour, this guy. But thank God for that in this case. But of course, you know, it's not very nice when you're living next door to someone and think they're monitoring your every move. But maybe not deliberately, but he must have looked at videos before. Maybe he's got nothing else to do, I don't know. But thank God for as far as the case was concerned.
But the fact that he was in here and explaining to it over and over and over,
Well,
he doesn't look worried. He looks like he's trying to cover his tracks.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying?
right.
And if he's loading his stuff, why isn't he walking back and forth? But I can't see what he's doing in the back of the truck because he pulled into the garage. And he knows my camera's there.
Any other neighbors have cameras around here, you know? Yeah, I'll look at it.
Yeah,
I'll do a search here in a minute.
all these boards kept coming up missing, so we moved in here, I put this in. And like you said, someone was breaking into it. He said that someone was breaking into his toolboxes of his truck. So I told him he could park his truck out there in case they saw something. Diesel, I know you want to go play with the baby so bad.
Her mom was next to me that we did it before. They have a GPS truck that goes everywhere he goes.
Backs his truck into the
That's
driveway.
what her friend Christina.
Parking his truck.
But they're immediately suspicious of this guy.
They're telling you 3 times what he took out, what he did, what he did, what he did. He's very, he never talks. So the fact that he's over
Never
here laughing
talk.
his mouth makes me kind of suspicious.
Yeah, but I mean, put yourself in his situation.
Oh, I agree.
You know, anyone's gonna be nervous. You don't know what to do.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying the way he told you 3 times what he brought with him, why is he telling you exactly what he brought with him instead of saying, well, they didn't see anybody out here, you didn't see anybody doing anything. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Why is he so worried about you knowing what he's carrying out? That's all I'm saying.
So they suspected him right from the beginning, didn't they? Which is a bit unfair. It is unfair because, like the policeman said, he could just be nervous. The
And
police
then
know
the
it.
thing that made me think straight away, oh, he's definitely guilty. He turned to Nicole, sort of looked at her for a split second, and he knew he was going to get no reception from her. She wasn't going to be shaking his hand or even saying hello. She just turned away with it. She was holding him over. And he just looked away quickly, and he couldn't even look her in the face or even speak to her because he knew he was guilty and he could not look Shanann's friend in the face. Anyway, in they go into the house, don't find anything because he's taken the bodies by them. Everything looks sort of normal, but the neighbour, brilliant. He had CCTV. And you know, whatever you think of CCTV, I mean, I do think it's helped to solve a lot of cases. Whether you think it's a good thing, a bad thing, or whatever it is, he had CCTV, obviously, you know, outside his house, but it caught images of Chris leaving, loading things up into his car in the early hours of the morning, and leaving with the, you know. I mean, obviously you couldn't see what he was loading into the car, but you could see that he was loading things into the car. That's when a lot of people will say they knew he was guilty, because as he was watching this CCTV, he goes like this. You see, he goes like this. And really, it's not because he's thinking, you know, about Shanann or the kids, it's because he's thinking, shit, I forgot about the CCTV. Yeah, you can just see it. And even the neighbour calls the policeman to one side and says, he's not acting right. He's not acting his normal self, you know. So, see, this is, as I said, this is what I just don't understand. Did he really think he could just murder his wife and 2 little girls and whisk them off and nobody would... I don't know, there won't be much fuss made. I don't know, do you really think they'd be like, oh, it'll die down after a couple of days? Oh, yeah, you know, yeah, oh, yeah, my wife's disappeared and my pregnant wife's disappeared and my 2 kids, but yeah, a couple of days and then it'd be old news. I mean, how thick was he? You know, I mean, or was he just so in love with this other girl that he just couldn't think it? I just don't get it. Why didn't he just divorce her? You know, people get divorced. This is what people do, you know, so it happens all the time. You know, what makes him different for everybody else? They think, oh, I can't be bothered getting a divorce. It's too much hassle. Just kill him. And then that's be the end of that. You know, I just think he must be totally thick or totally insane. I don't know. What do you think? I mean,
Combination.
how could somebody do that? Apart from how could you do it? How could you do it and think you'd get away with it? You know, even if you take out the emotion of the fact that it's such a horrible thing to do. Anyway, so in the next couple of days, he was showing, obviously there's this big manhunt well, not manhunt, big search for Shanann and the girls. And he's just like carrying on. It's like he unenrolled the girls from preschool straight away. You think, why did he do that? I mean, that's like to go to the nursery and unenroll them. That's because he didn't want to pay us. But you know, if you're thinking they're okay, because he said, "Oh, I hope they're all together somewhere, and I hope they're all okay," you'd be thinking, "Well, she'll be back tomorrow or whatever." If you don't know that anything's happened, so why would you unenroll them? That he was planning holidays with his girlfriend, I take it. He was inquiring about life insurance policies. Don't ever take out a life insurance. That's one thing I've learned from watching true crime things. Take out a life insurance policy, your time's limited. You know, I know he was making appointments to sell the house. It was, you know, he was just he was acting as just in those few days, because he wasn't long before he was arrested, to be honest. He didn't get many days freedom. He was acting as if, you know, she wasn't coming back or whatever, you know, so he obviously knew what happened to her, and the police knew. It's just a question of getting evidence, isn't it? So
we're just going to look at an interview he did on the telly while she was missing, where everybody, you know, everybody looked at this interview and thought, you know, nobody believed him. And it's been subject of a lot of body language things since. But trouble with body language is afterwards, yeah, you can always find the clues afterwards. But quite often you can't find them at the time. To me, body language analysis, it's interesting. But I don't think, you know, it can't be used in court, obviously. And also, I think different people take different analysis. Do you know, different people see different things. It's very subjective, in my opinion. Personally, I just go by intuition, you know, and I'm not always right, I suppose, but I normally am right. But anyway, let's have a look at this interview he did. What do you think?
WATTS.
Wow. What's going on right now around your house?
Right now, it's got K9 units, the sheriff's department. Everybody's like they're doing their best right now to figure out like if they can get a scent, see where they went. If they went on foot, they went in a car, or they went somewhere. And right now, it's just like they've been on point. They're going through the house trying to get a scent, and hopefully they can pick something up to where it's going to lead to something.
What happened? Your wife came home. Tell me what's.
She came home from the airport 2 a.m. and I left around 5:15. She was still here, and like about 12:10 in that afternoon, her friend Nicole showed up at the door. Like I had texted Shanann a few times that day, called her, say, you know, but she never got back to me. But she wasn't getting back to any of her people as well, and that's what really concerned a lot of people. Is like she's not getting back to her. Like if she doesn't get back to me, that's fine. Like she gets busy during the day. But she didn't get back to her people, which was very concerning. And Nicole called me when she was at the door, and that's when I came home. And then walked in the house, and nothing was vanished. Nothing was here. I mean, she wasn't here. The kids weren't here. Nobody was here.
What's your wife's name?
Shanann, Shanann.
What's your kids?
Bella and Celeste.
Celeste.
CELE.
Must admit, when he's talking about Bella and Celeste, he does have that regret on his. We sort of, you know, closes his eyelids like that, and you can see that. But you know, it's easy in retrospect to read something into it.
ESTE.
How old are you?
4. Bella's 4. Celeste is 3.
And so, how many times did you try calling her?
I called her 3 times, texted her about 3 times, just to say, you know, what's going on. Like after the.
It's not many times, is it? Really, 3. When your wife and your 2 kids have disappeared, I called her 3 times. I texted her 3 times. It's not many, is it? He was on that phone constantly. He was texting bloody Nicole. Definitely.
After I called her and texted her once, it's like maybe she was just busy. Like she'd just gotten back, you know, like everybody's probably calling her from her trip. She just got back from Arizona, and I figured she was just busy. But when her friend showed up, that's what was like, it registered like, all right, this isn't right.
Do you think she just took off? Do you think?
I mean, right now I don't even want to just.
His ears are red, aren't they? That's supposed to be a sign, isn't it? But again, we're looking back into with retrospect.
Like throw anything out there. Like, I hope that she's somewhere safe right now and with the kids. But I mean, could she just taken off? I don't know. But if somebody has her and they're not safe, like, I want them back now.
God, if somebody has her and they're not safe, I want them back now. It is sort of mind-boggling, isn't it, to think that these people, you know, he's murdered his wife, which, okay, I suppose you could, I'm not, you know, it's terrible in itself, but, you know, fit of rage, crime of passion, and then gone on and murdered those two little girls, his own daughters. You know, that's, and not only that, then he's taken them off and disposed of them with callously, no respect, put them in oil drums. Come on, how revolting. How could he do that?
Like, that's what's in my head. Like, if they're safe right now, they're going to come back. But if they're not safe right now, that's the not knowing part. Like, if they're not safe, last night I had every light in the house on. I was hoping that I would just ran over by the kids running in the door and just like barrel rushing me, but it didn't happen. And it was just a traumatic night.
Maybe in a way he was, because was probably thinking, if only all hadn't happened. Maybe he was looking out for ghosts. I don't know how these people sleep easy at night. Now he's in prison, but surely the ghosts of those little girls, Daddy, you're my hero. Surely they're haunting him. I hope so.
Trying to be here.
I'm gonna ask some kind of tough questions. Relationship with the kids.
I mean, yeah, my kids are my life. I mean, those smiles light up my life.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, last night, like during
those smiles light up my life so much that I extinguish them as if they were nothing.
You know, when they usually eat dinner, it was just like, I miss them. Like, I mean, I miss telling them, hey, you got to eat that or you're not going to get your dessert, you know, and just like, you're not going to get your snack after. I miss that. Like, I miss them, you know, cuddle up on their couches. They have like a Minnie Mouse couch and a Sophia couch that they cuddle up on and watch, you know, Bubble Guppies or something. And it was just like, you know, it was tearing me apart last night, and I needed that. I needed that last night, and for nobody to be here last night and to go into their rooms and know that I wasn't going to turn the rain machines on.
Again, it's all about him, isn't it? And he doesn't actually mention missing Shanann.
I know that I wasn't going to turn their monitor on. No, I wasn't going to kiss them to bed tonight. It was. That's why last night was just horrible. I couldn't do it. I want everybody to just come home. Like, wherever they're at, come home.
Yeah, he's stopping what he's saying, because so he's talking mainly about the kids, and I'm sure that's true. He probably cannot believe what he's done. He probably would like to rewind and not do that, but you know, too late, Chris. But it's all about you now. You feel, and never Shanann not mentioned.
That's what I want.
Where was she gone for? She was on. She came back Sunday. You said at 2 at night.
Yeah, because her flight got delayed from Arizona because of like other storms around the nation. So she's supposed to get home at like 11. She got home at like 1:48. She got in bed about 2.
What was she going for? Like family trip? Or like?
It was a Thrive direct sales. It was a local event that was down there between a bunch of leaders in the company.
That day she was back. I mean,
I left work early that morning, like 5:15, 5:30. So like she barely got into bed pretty much.
You know, this might be a tough question, but
well, they say that they had sex before he killed her, so They obviously got into an argument.
You guys get into an argument before she left?
It wasn't like an argument. We had an emotional conversation, but I'll leave it at that. But I just want them back. I just want them to come back. And if they're not safe right now, that's what's tearing me apart. Because if they are safe, they're coming back. But if they're not, this has got to stop. Like, somebody has to come forward.
You spoken to her family, like her parents?
Yeah, they've been in constant contact, like every hour. I mean, everybody back in North Carolina and the East Coast. I mean, from Maine to Florida.
What is her parents saying to you? Like,
They're just like if they need to get on a flight, just let them know. Because I mean, they feel helpless right now because they're on the opposite side of the country. I mean, Colorado is. I mean, you can't just drive around and look. I mean, it's just like you wouldn't really know what you're looking for. That's what the cops pretty much told me. That first day, I was like, I want to get out and drive around. They said, you wouldn't know what to look for.
Last couple of questions. What is law enforcement? What have the police or the sheriffs or your neighbors? Is anybody? What's police saying to you? Right now, this is what they're doing right now is with the canines in the sense. I think this is the biggest thing. This is the biggest thing they've done so far because yesterday Frederick Police Department did all the searching of the house and try to gather whatever information they could. And with the detectives, officers, and sergeants, and today it's, I mean, obviously with all the activity that's around, it's there's a lot going on around here, and I really hope that all of this can lead to something positive. What did your neighbors? Did they see anything? Did you ever see anything? No, like the police department went door to door asking, like, cameras and everything, just like nothing. And my last question, if you have any though, so feel free to step in. My last question is, if your wife can see this, if she can watch this, what would you like to tell your wife and your kids? Shanann, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like, if somebody has her, just please bring her back. I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody here. Please bring her back.
Look at his mouth.
Take that mic off you.
So that local news place, they took that video of him. You know, and they did well to take that, didn't they? Because, you know, at the end of the day, you could see they focused in on him. You know, that video will have been useful later. Okay, I've got two more things that I just want to show you. Let's carry on with the heart. Here's the dog. Let's just carry on with the video. Oh, you were looking for some attention.
Couldn't find any evidence because they hadn't found the bodies.
Anyway, finally finished.
He took a lie detector test. I suppose he felt like he couldn't refuse, and probably thought that he could pass it. You know, because he's not all there really, is he? I mean, you know.
Honestly, to me, he's not all there. So he took the lie detector test. He failed the lie detector test. He then, they told him he'd failed it, so he asked to speak, and they asked him to tell him the truth. He asked to speak to his dad, and that's the last bit of video I'm going to show you. Is him telling his dad, but, you know, not only... what was awful was because not only he didn't, you know, come clean to his dad, really. What he told his dad was that he'd caught Shanann killing the children, and so he'd hurt her. So let's watch that. It's obnoxious, isn't it, what he did? You know, everything he did is obnoxious. But it's especially obnoxious to me, I think, that he actually accused Shanann of doing it.
I don't want to protect her. What? I don't want to protect her. You don't want to protect her? I don't know what else to say. Huh? She hurt him? Yeah.
And when he says she hurt them, Ronnie, his dad, he doesn't even skip a beat, does he? I mean, you'd think he'd be going, what? What do you mean she hurt them? What did she do? You know, like, this really told us a lot, I think, in how this father just accepts. I mean, at first he can't quite get his head around it, you can see, but he just accepts that Chris is telling the truth because Chris is one of those mollycoddled man babies, coddled by his parents. His father just accepted this lie immediately because they did not like Shanann.
And then well, no, that's not her. Your girl.
Did you see me went, what now? Like, what now? Like that. I think in the beginning he can't quite take on board what's happened. He goes, what now? And he goes, I hurt her. I killed her. But then he says, I hurt her.
Did they leave after that for a long time?
And then Ronnie says, did they leave after that? Or what now? Because he's still, in this initial instant, he cannot believe that he's saying that he killed Shanann.
So she started hurting the kids. Paper. Probably because one of them. One, she's smothering. Or choking. And
So he starts off saying that Shanann smothered them and choked them.
I didn't hear anything. When I was downstairs, I came back up and they were calling.
Awful.
I don't know, like me talking to her about that. Talking to her about separation and everything, about like, she lost her. I don't know, like, what else to say, like, I freaked out. Those are my kids. So she, it's not that one time, you were leaving, this was gonna work. And she freaked out over the separation and everything. I think it was, she laid back down, but that's when I went downstairs, but I heard like a little commotion upstairs, but I didn't think anything.
Oh my God.
And then we went back upstairs and she was never, I could see like, she was not, not choking her, or
Oh,
did she kill him?
this typical gaslighting. So she killed him. She killed the girls. She was on top of Ceci. He freaked out because she killed the girls and he killed her. This is he has admitted the truth now, but I don't think we should ever forget that this was his original story and his parents, the grandparents of those children, accepted it.
They were blue. Both of them, yeah. She took both of them down. I forgot to say anything. How was it? How was it? I didn't like call cops about it. So maybe when you're being all the bodies off or something. I mean, I didn't know what else to do. I freaked out. I didn't know nothing else to do. I didn't know what to do. So she killed those she seen on.
He just accepts it. Choked him to death. Of course she did. How could he believe that?
You lost it and choke her or not just this rage. I hadn't.
Now, I know he's his son, and you know what? You would help them as much as you could, but I think, well, they didn't like Shanann, so it was easy for them to accept that she'd done it.
I'll pass that lie detector test, you know. I don't know, but I suppose he didn't feel that he could say, no, I'm not taking a lie detector test. But if he was any sort of intelligent person, that's what he would do. He'd say, no, I'm not taking one because they're not reliable or whatever. I mean, it couldn't have been used against him. So it just wasn't very clever. But anyway, yeah, he took the lie detector test. It proved that he was lying. So they started questioning him. Now, all the footage of the interrogation is on camera. You can watch that too, and it's I know it's morbid, but it's very fascinating. To me, it's fascinating because I like to know how people's minds work, and I just don't know how this guy's mind works at all. So he's giving the interview, and then you can see that he's sort of not quite sure what to say, especially when the lie detector result comes back. So he asked for his father to be able to have a little chat to his father. And while he's having a little chat
I'm
to
just
his
fast forwarding it a bit because I've said
that
this.
to me is even worse still. These great big oil drum things, and just left Shanann sort of. I suppose he was going to go back and deal with her later. I don't know. He thought he would be able to get. He didn't realise. Again, thanks to the friend Nicole, he ran out of time and he ran out of options. He couldn't go back because he knew he was being watched. So he couldn't go back and cover his traces. Shanann was just in an open field in the end, covered in a blanket or whatever. So, yeah. So what do you think? I mean, why did he do that? You know, why did he do it? And why did he not just divorce her? You know, you fell in love with somebody else. These things happen. These things
They
happen.
do happen. Yeah. You know, people fall in love with other people all the time, don't they? They have relationships, but, you know, get divorced. That's what you should do. Anyway, so, of course, he was found guilty. He's been given life imprisonment. He's never coming out of prison. He's done a few interviews in prison, and one day I will have a little look at those as well. See what he's saying now, because now he has come clean. He has come clean now, admitted. Oh, there's Princess Tia in the background. I know I've nearly finished now. He has come clean now and admitted what he's done. So that's something. And he has been interviewed in prison. One day we'll look at his interviews, go through those as well. When I've got over this series, which has been quite upsetting, hasn't it? So rest in peace, Shanann, Ceci, Bella, and Nico. And I expect Chris Watts is not having very pleasant dreams, I would imagine. So I'm going to finish off now, and remember to live and love wisely, carefully. I'm just going to play out with a little bit of music with the photos. And anyway, that's the last one in this series. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you.